Hello everyone, welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Today is going to be a slightly more informative soap making video. I am going to be adding very strange ingredients to cold processed soap. I'm going to tell you how I do this. I'm going to give you an ingredient breakdown. I'm going to tell you all of the percentages and amounts that I'm using today. So if you would like to experiment at home and you are a soap maker, well, you can just follow along with me. The reason this isn't a Royal Creative Academy video is because I've never used some of these ingredients and I don't teach people how to do things I've never done myself. Which ingredients are we going to be putting in soap today? Well, we have to go with a classic first. I will be taking the skin off this. We're gonna blend it up. We're gonna squeeze all the good cucumber juice out of it. If I had a juicer, I would obviously juice it, but I don't. So we're gonna blend it up, get all the fresh juices out and use that. Now this is one additive I actually do expect to be able to feel a difference with. Again, anything in the milk category does typically have a very different feeling on your skin, and I expect the yogurt to be no different. Now I have gone with an organic plain yogurt. It still has 6 grams of sugar per 3/4 of a cup, so I also expect to have more bubbles with the batch that include this. But not really, because it's from California and it's not from Champagne, so it's not really champagne. This has been sitting exposed to the air so that all of the carbonation is gone. And finally, probably the weirdest thing I've ever added to soap, but again, a lot of soap makers swear by it. 1 single organic egg. Now me personally, I'm going to be weighing this to make sure that I actually meet the water content I need for the soap, but yeah, we're using an egg as water replacement. Let's make some soap with some kitchen ingredients, shall we? Now that I have all my extra ingredients ready to be weighed, let's talk about soap recipe and what you can do when replacing water with one of these ingredients. Here's the total amount of oils in a purple mold recipe. And when I say purple mold, this is the mold that I'm talking about. These are the most common for beginner soap makers to use if they're going to use a loaf mold at all. You can get them on Amazon, on Temu, probably even at a craft store because they're so common. They make about 10 bars of soap. And whenever I'm experimenting or trying to make a recipe for you guys to follow, this is the loaf mold I like to use because it's probably the one that you have sitting around. If you're going to fill up a purple mold of soap using my classic Royalty Soaps recipe, you will need 37 ounces of the Royalty Soaps oil blend, and then your total lye water solution will be 14.9 ounces. You will have this much lye and this much water. But if you're going to make a 50-50 lye water solution, you're going to have 5.25 ounces of lye and 5.25 ounces of water to get 10.5 ounces. That will leave you with an extra 4.4 ounces of water to substitute, whether that's with cucumber, yogurt, goat's milk, coconut milk, whatever your heart so desires. You get 4.4 ounces of workroom. Do some people like to use yogurt or coconut milk or goat's milk for their full water amount? Absolutely. But I find with milks and other things of that nature, they are prone to scorching, and it is far more difficult to incorporate that with lye water solution without getting a burn. So that's why I like to use 50-50 solution with this as my extra water weight, which means I need 4.4 ounces of all of these different ingredients. All right, 4.4 ounces of yogurt. This is going to be so nice. 4.4 ounces of our champagne. Ooh, not gonna lie, that is kind of stinky. Let's do an egg. Wow, almost 2 ounces exactly. Okay, to make up for the deficit, I'm going to add more water to the egg. I've never seen people add more than 1 egg to a batch, and most of the time their batches are bigger than mine. So I'm really hesitant to add 2. Okay, 4.4 ounces of water and egg. Then we're gonna cut all the skin off. I know I should have a potato peeler, and normally I do, but it's in the dishwasher right now and the dishwasher's running. Honestly, fresh cucumber smells so good. good. And then we're gonna cut these pieces quite small just to make our work with the stick blender even easier. Get our little container up here, tear it out. So much of a cucumber is already water. I don't think I'm gonna have any sort of problem incorporating this. I would also be really curious to try adding watermelon to a soap. I think that that would be so nice, especially because of the sugar content. Any fruit high in sugar would probably be super nice to add to a soap just for the extra bubbles. All right, 4.4. This is what it looks like for our cucumber. These guys are pretty much ready to go. The only work that needs to be done is the cucumbers. We really need to fix that guy up. Time to use the stick blender for what it was actually intended for. Blending up food. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now that my ingredients are prepped and ready to go, I'm going to warm up my oils to about 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I just want to make sure that I get a really, really good emulsion because I've never used these ingredients before. I'm also not going to be adding any fragrance or colors so that we can see, if left to their own devices, how these soaps will naturally discolor or not. Here are my oils right around 100 degrees. You can see how they look a little bit different at 100 degrees than they normally do. We're working, 15 degrees hotter than usual. I'm gonna be adding in all of these ingredients at different stages depending on the ingredient. For the cucumber, I'm adding it straight to the oils because I want to give it a few more pulses before adding my lye water solution, just to make sure that I've ground up. Why am I wiping that off if I'm about to blend it up again? Anyways, just to make sure that I've gotten everything as smooth as I can. Honestly, blended up cucumber is such a lovely green color. So let's go ahead and give that another blend. Okay, that actually looks truly gorgeous. Let's get our lye water solution. Once again, this is 1 part lye and 1 part water. So it will be a little bit thicker than what you're used to seeing on this channel. And there's less of it because there's not as much water in there. Gonna go ahead and pour all of that in. I'm gonna scrape out the lye container because it's pretty important that I get everything in there. And now let's blend real good. Wow, that is so nice. That color change was wild. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pour it into our mold. It is getting much warmer, but it has remained a really, really creamy consistency. Isn't that wild though, seeing cucumber go from that like lovely green color to this like kind of orange color? All right, gonna go ahead and scrape everything out of that container. We will not be returning to it. And then I may come back and texture it, but obviously it won't really matter if I do or don't. That's not the point. I'd say for the first batch, we're off to a really clean start. Gonna put a piece of tape on the side here, like so. Put the word cucumber on it. And then I'm gonna make sure that this does not touch anything else. We don't want it to be cozied up next to the other soaps because I don't want to force a gel phase. I'm gonna set it off alone by itself to saponify. For this, I'm actually working at 80 degrees because I want to keep this one as cold as possible. Why? Because yogurt will heat up a soap all by itself. In fact, if things start looking a little bit weird, I may end up having to put this soap in the refrigerator so it doesn't overheat and scorch and get really smelly and separate and all of the above. All right, let's blend that up. Okay, time for the lye water. I'm a little scared, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Ha ha ha, soap puns. Okay, I'm gonna blend this one while I pour it in, again, to avoid scorching. I have a feeling this is gonna be a really weird color shift though. Wow, this one is actually behaving a little bit better than the cucumber. It's not nearly as hot, and the emulsion looks really good. Maybe I should keep the temperature down low for all of these. I thought warming it ever so slightly would get me an even cleaner emulsion, but look how nice and creamy this is. All right, that seals the deal. We'll soap colder for the rest of the batches. All right, just gonna pour into one corner here, eliminating air bubbles if I can. Gosh, this is so creamy. Look at that. It's still kind of runny. Ooh, this is going quite well. All right, next up is champagne. Gonna add that straight to our oils and give it a good blend while adding the lye water solution. Okay, the champagne is thickening quite quickly, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it smells really, really weird. Yeah, oof, oof. Soaping with alcohols, not my favorite. Ooh, we gonna be rushing to get this in. Once again, no fragrance, no kaolin clay, nothing unusual. It all has the same base recipe. The additives are the only difference. Go ahead and clean up some of these edges just a little bit. Then I'll texture the top. Wow, that may already be going through some sort of a gel phase. Crazy. All right, 3 done, 1 to go. Now, here's the thing with the egg. I have only ever seen people add it at trace. I've never seen them add it straight to the oils, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm also gonna stick blend the crap out of it so that it's not just sitting there being nasty. Okay, it's pulverized. Let's go ahead and add that lye water solution. Okay, let's add our egg. All right, not bad. It doesn't smell like rotten eggs. Add a little bit more. Blend that in. Dare I say that I think the egg may have the prettiest batter? I really think it might. It's not too thick. It's not too thin. The emulsification looks super pretty. All right, egg. We see you, egg. Let's pour it in. All right, once again, going for the side corner. I mean, honestly, look how luxurious that is. If someone was like, what do you think's in there? I'd be like, milk, probably goat milk, or like almond milk. And they're like, what if I told you it's an egg? I just can't believe it doesn't smell bad. All right, here they are, all 4 of our soaps. We have the cucumber, we have the yogurt, which look at the difference in the tops of all of these. The yogurt and the egg still have this very like workable looking appearance to them. If I mashed on them, I would probably still be able to maneuver the soap around a little bit. Of course, the egg makes sense because it was the last one, but you understand the point. Like, there's no mushing the champagne. It's gonna stay like that, as is the cucumber. Now, to give them all the fairest chance against soda ash, I'm going to spritz the tops with rubbing alcohol, but I will not be covering these with plastic wrap, and I'm also not going to place them in the fridge. It doesn't appear that the room temperature is going to cause any problems for these. I should also say, after about 30 minutes, the cucumber went from that odd red color back to a white cream, so that's been an interesting observation. We are going to wait 24 hours for all of these. I did not add sodium lactate to this batch, so I feel like some of these are probably still going to be sticky after 24 hours, but I'll check them after that. So we'll be back tomorrow to cut them open. Then I'm going to let them sit for just a week or so. I do recognize that certain soaps would actually feel even better after sitting for longer, but the whole saponification process will be over in a week and they'll have cured a little bit. And then I will keep the bars and I will test them again after 8 weeks, or when they are not losing water anymore. That's when I know when they'll be fully cured, and that may happen as soon as 3 weeks, but we'll do an initial test tomorrow. All right, we'll do champagne first because it's looking the hardest of everybody. Definitely gelled, definitely. Okay, surprisingly, that was really easy to cut. So this is what it looks like on the inside. You can see that soda ash is looking really bad on top. Definitely had gel phase happen. Still a little bit sticky. Doesn't smell bad, just smells like good clean soap. Cucumber is next. This one is quite a bit harder, actually. This one smells different. This one definitely smells like it was made with a hydrosol or cucumber. It's in that fragrance category. Wow, and look at the inside. Not surprising given the fact that it was a puree and not a straight juice. There were, you know, little bits and bobs of cucumber. It does smell a little bit more fresh, like I said. I don't actually love the smell that much though. Next up is the yogurt. I'm most excited for this one. It just created the creamiest batch. I have a feeling it's gonna look really smooth on the inside. And down. Yeah, look at that. A little bit of gel going on in there. You can see sort of a little rectangle. This may fade over time. Sometimes you get a discoloration like that that goes away, but completely creamy. Like, look at that. It's so smooth. This one doesn't smell great right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. It doesn't smell great. I think some of that will wear off though as the soap sits. Okay, and the final one, the egg. How is this unmolding? Looks really good, actually. Last one. Ooh, oh my gosh. Why is it this color? Why is it green? I don't like that. It actually doesn't smell any different. It just looks weird. If anything, I would say this smells like the yogurt soap, but it looks so pretty. Like, again, the creamy texture, but like, why did it discolor like that in the middle? It has to be a heat thing. I'm really gonna guess that it started going through gel on the middle. And so it started, you know, making that color, but I don't know. It's just a guess. I have some little slivers here, little end pieces. I'll clean the water between each testing. So here's the champagne, already starting off with a good amount of bubbles. Soap feels really smooth, very gentle. And those are, I mean, look how big those bubbles are on there. Those are some big boys. So feels good, lathers really well. Yeah, I would say the suds feel relatively soft. Bubbles, yeah, bubbles are insane. That's a great lather. Doesn't make my skin feel tight. That's good. All right, let's go clean out the water. We'll do the next one. All right, let's do the yogurt soap. Yeah, now this feels really, I mean, obviously you're getting some pretty good bubbles right off the top there, but the actual soap bar itself feels honestly a little bit silky. Like, it's a really, really luxurious feeling of the bar. Now, can I tell the difference in the bubbles? I mean, you can see it's a bit of a firmer lather, not as many big bubbles, but still bubbles up plenty, like plenty. I would say in general that bar just feels silkier, and yeah, some of these bubbles look a bit bigger. I mean, you know, if I wasn't a soap maker, I would literally not be able to tell the difference. All right, fresh set of water. All right, now for the cucumber. Yep, lathers up pretty much the same. I would say there's less lather on this one than the champagne. I'm having to work a little harder. Not that hard though. Again, this is not wine, okay? Like, a good soap can be made in so many different ways with so many different ingredients. And as long as you're able to work up a lather relatively quickly, I mean, and it doesn't make your skin feel dry, you're comparing what I would say a small percentage difference, but that feels good. I mean, smells, again, a little fresher than the other batches, but not by much. All right, last one, the egg soap. I'm gonna have to use a full bar because I didn't have much of an end piece on that one. Yep, just feels like a normal soap. Isn't that crazy though, that you and I both know there's an egg inside of this? Yeah, if anything, I would say there's actually less lather on this one. I don't know how big a difference that egg made. Of course, we did have to add some water to this because the egg didn't make weight. Yeah, I would say the foam on this, a little bit more dense. If I add some more water, we might be able to get it to foof up a little more. But does it still feel good on the skin? Yes. Does it leave my skin tight? No. So a bit of a different feeling on the egg, but not that different. Not that different, if we're being honest. I'm going to be really shocked if after a full cure, my opinion on the soaps changed much from what it is right now, which is that I had 4 completely different ingredients. I had something fresh, I had something aged, I had something really, really weird, and I had something kind of common. And at the end of the day, all of the bars of soap felt good on my skin. They got me clean. They didn't leave me feeling like itchy and scaly. And so I am going to continue to let them cure and sit. I'm going to mark those results. I'll probably post them on Instagram or in some sort of short form content like an IG reel, TikTok, something like that. But I think I can pretty positively say that there are a lot of different ways to make a good soap. And while I'm really excited to try even more ingredients, when you're looking for a soap maker to purchase from, unless they're really, really messing up a recipe, you're going to end up with a great bar. Like soap over time, as it sits, whether it has milks or wine and beer, whatever, it's all going to be good soap. Okay. So I think that that's good. I think it gives makers a lot of versatility. There's some people that love working with milks. There's some people who don't like working with them. There's some people who love a really, really plain Jane bar of soap. They'll make it with lard and lye and water, and that's it. And then there's some people who like to use 10 different oils and butters. And at the end of the day, as someone who has been making and consuming for 10 to 11 years, I can say it's pretty much all going to get you clean. It's going to feel pretty similar. The only ones that I think are like a really, really notable difference are the milk soaps. Again, that's a personal opinion, but those really just pack something different. All of that cream and milk and sugars in there do kind of make the bar feel a little bit different, but who knows? Maybe there's just some ingredients out there I've never tried before. Safe to say, I do think handmade soap, homemade soap, handcrafted soap is the best soap in the world. And so if you're purchasing one of those bars from somebody, you're probably getting the best that you can get. So leave your weird and wild ingredient suggestions down below. We'll make up another 4 fun batches. I don't know, maybe I'll change my opinion. I reserve the right to change my opinion on if I think there's an ingredient that like really escalates everything. So yeah, have an absolutely amazing day. Thanks for hanging out with me today and doing these really weird test batches. I will chit chat with y'all in the comments and see you in the next video. So until then, bye for now. Ew!